Like most RTS lovers, I'm more of a fan of the S than the R and the T, the strategy. And in the recent month, there is one new strategy that has been taking over the Age of Empires 2 scene, so I had to contact the man behind it, Red Phosphoru.
I developed some crazy strats that I played for a really long time that took me up to 1600. And then from there, I picked up Sicilians, and the story's kind of crazy from there. And that's the first strat that got me to 2K. And then I was hooked on the even crazier things.
In Age of Empires 2, there's one golden rule: always produce villagers. They're your main economic unit, and the more economy you have, the more army you can produce, and the better your chances are to overwhelm your opponent. Simply making villagers without interruption is a difficult skill because it takes a good level of multitasking. Below 1000 elo, which is the average level, very few players can continuously produce villagers, and at the pro level, 4 or 5 seconds of idle production is often considered poor play in the early game. And there are a lot of cheesy strategies going around in Age of Empires 2 that break this golden rule. But they don't work against pro players, they only work if you don't know how to counter it. Well, today we're talking about strategies that not only break the golden rule, but that even pros don't know how to beat.
But this castle will be in range of both of these TCs, and freaking Phosphoru is gonna win this game.
Idle TC increasing.
He's going clown strategy.
I didn't expect hard to lose this game.
Our story begins 3 years ago when the AoE2 fans saw the rise of Hoang. Hoang is a semi-pro Vietnamese player who came up with an insane strategy. His favorite civilization, the Celts, are considered a rather weak civilization.
Celts, we might have our first D-tier civilization. Celts are only ever good in the hands of Hoang.
They have 2 good bonuses: Siege shoot faster, and Militia line moves faster. Hoang made good use of both, and he would make 4 Militia in the Dark Age to disrupt and slow down his opponent, while going up to the Castle Age to unlock the use of this powerful siege weapon. And the key here is that villagers cost food, but siege costs wood and gold. Hoang would just stop making villagers, and thus would move his whole economy to wood and gold to mass-produce army. With that, he puts a timer on himself. If he doesn't do lethal damage to his opponent soon, he will get overrun because of his opponent growing economy. But because he's so all-in, and usually hits Castle Age way before his opponent, he's able to get a strong forward position and start pushing the main TC of his opponents. Mangonels, Scorpion, Pikemen, and sometimes Knights and Monks, the pressure is so heavy that even the best players in the world can't hold it.
Just like, it's so YOLO, it's actually so insane.
Because of his style and creativity, Hoang gets the attention of T90 Official, the biggest content creator for Age of Empires 2 who likes to cast his games. Tons of people get inspired by Hoang and want to try his strategy, but it requires a near-perfect execution and full commitment, which makes it hard to perform. But among Hoang's new fans, there's one American player who not only will get inspired by Hoang, but will start developing his own strategies.
Hoang is obviously my favorite player, and I love playing against Hoang. He's very creative. I'll tell you, copying Hoang was really hard. I played Knights Siege Monk from 1k to 12k. It was just too hard. I dropped it, and I'm like, I need a better, easier strategy for me.
We don't know much about Red Phosphoru, but when I talked about him, I realized one thing. Even when he started playing, his approach to the game was different. Most people who want to improve at the game, no matter what game, they will watch tutorials on YouTube, they will watch how the pros play and they will try to mimic their playstyle. They will try to learn the meta, but not Phosphoru.
I spend a ton of time in the editors, for example, and then I implement it in the game and see, oh, was that too fast? Was that a little weak to feudal play? Okay, I'll tinker it. I'll do it one slower. How does that feel? And then, go from there. It's lots of iteration. In a way, it's kind of boring. It's just trial and error. Did I have too little stone? Okay, I'll overload stone a little earlier. I'll try to, push in more deer or whatever. Just simple tinkering.
After the Hoang era, another strategist took the spotlight. YouPudding. YouPudding is a Taiwanese player that became the master of Sicilians. Similar to Hoang with the Celts, the Sicilians were considered a rather weak civilization, but YouPudding found a way to use them to their maximum strength. The plan is simple, go up to the third age as fast as possible and abuse the very strong surgeons. Because Sicilians start with more stone than the other civilization, you can sell that stone at the market for a good price and go up even before your opponents start to put feudal pressure on you. To protect your base, you build a dungeon next to your gold mine and that building will start producing sergeants. When you reach Castle Age, your sergeant automatically get a boost in armor, HP and attack that makes them extremely strong against feudal age units, meaning you can push back whatever pressure your opponent puts on you. And finally, the cherry on top, sergeants have a high pierce armor, meaning they easily survive arrows from the town center and can thus storm the opponent's economy. And that new strategy had an even bigger impact on the community for one simple reason. It is much easier to execute than to defend, which means at lower levels people started to spam these strategies and the people against them didn't have the skill to defend it, it was just simply too strong. And it's time we introduce another important character, the Viper. I know I seem to talk a lot about him in every video I make, but he and T90 have a massive impact on the community. And Viper loves weird strategies. During the Hoang era, he was the only pro that really tried to perform the strategy, and when he heard about the YouPudding, he did the same.
Oh, I got in! Oh, can't believe it. Man, this YouPudding guy really knows.
Viper sensed potential in this strategy, so much potential that he started playing it in a small-scale tournament against another world-class pro, Mr. Yo.
Maybe I will need actual units. GG. No, he has nothing outside. He has 2 villagers, and this... this is so stupid.
Okay, but why am I telling you this story, and what about our main character, Phosphoru? Well, he was watching and he was learning. What most people didn't know at the time is that Phosphoru was involved in the success of the YouPudding. The first iteration of the YouPudding wasn't as good as what Viper used. It didn't involve a naked fast castle, and it was Phosphoru who realized it could be much stronger and that perfected it. At that time, he's also working on his own masterpieces. You can easily tell if you look at his rating. In November 2023, in the span of 15 days, he went from 2k3 to 1700.
It's really interesting. I have 4 what I call, S tiers: Romans, Burmese, Bengalis, and the Portuguese. Those are in my mind, the best strategies. Those strats are just like extremely hard to beat, even if you know they're coming.
But he also has a dozen of what he calls A-tier strategies, which are the ones that are beatable if you know they're coming, and that won't go under T90's radar. Phosphoru went from being a T90 Vivid viewer to being the main character of one of his successful series. The Phosphoru strategy that had the most impact is undoubtedly with the Bengalis. It's a simple concept. The Bengalis' extremely strong unique unit, the Ratha, costs wood and gold. And the Bengalis bonus gives you 2 extra villagers for free when you age up, which makes it one of the best civs to go fast castle age with. Once there, you place a castle to protect both your wood line and your gold mine, and you produced Ratha. You keep 2 or 3 farms, but not to make villages, no, that would be way too standard. You gather some food to research fletching and bodkin arrow, 2 upgrades for the almighty Ratha, and then you enjoy.
He's gonna have siege on his face right away. Loses a lot of skirms. Ooh. Poor Hoang. He doesn't want to accept that he's losing to this crap.
Similar to the YouPudding, the Bengalis Phosphoru strat was successfully played during a tournament, but its biggest impact is at the lower level. It's again one of these strategies that's easier to execute than to defend, and oh boy, people complain about this one.
It's really funny watching pro players try these strats, or just anyone try these strats. These FCs and the unique units that they're going for are so strong that even, kind of poor execution, the unit will cover that up. These strategies are quite controversial. I'm sure you've seen on Reddit and stuff, people complaining about them, right? Honestly, I'm very agnostic on whether or not these strats are OP and should be nerfed. What I've concluded is that we need more people playing these strats, especially at high level and low level, and then once we get enough data, the devs will be able to work from there.
And this is how Hoang's story ended. Celts were nerfed and the strategy just wasn't strong enough anymore. Personally, I would hate that to happen to the Bengalis. What I love about gaming in general is the alternative ways of playing the game. And I know it can be frustrating to lose without knowing what you could have done differently, but in my opinion, that's just part of the learning curve. In a strategy game, we need these off-meta strategies. We need people like Hoang, YouPudding, and Phosphoru to theorycraft those strategies. During our chat, I absolutely loved Phosphoru's enthusiasm. You can tell he's passionate and he just loves the game. Big thanks to him for taking the time to share his story, and if you want to hear more about him, you can find his YouTube and Twitch channels. Links are in the description. And thanks to you for watching and for the crazy amount of support I've been getting on this new channel. The next video is going to be about the unintended feature that became a core AoE2 skills. Can you guess what it is?